Hey there, Rappies. Rapper9198 here, and welcome to another edition of Ryan's Day Reading. Today, I'll be reading chapter 16 of I'll Push You, titled Pursuit. And as you can see here on the map here, let's say this will be Montana. This is what it's, and then it's at 325 kilometers. And then a little recap from the previous chapter. Patrick and Justin and the whole team are taking a day off to rest and rejuvenate. And for Patrick, he was talking about how this whole journey has become one of self-discovery for him. And he was talking about Sabbath and just really realizing that, like, how much, like, he's really reflecting on his friendship with Justin, and he's learned to really cherish the moments with his own family, with his wife and his children, as much as he has with Justin. And he realized that he hasn't been doing that, and so it's kind of really a self-discovery journey there for him. And so, but now it looks like they'll be soon continuing on with their journey. So here we go with chapter 16, Pursuit. And again, we're starting with Patrick. Today is filled with mixed emotions. The rest and relaxation we've enjoyed in Burgos hardly seem enough to refill our depleted energy tanks. But both Justin and I are hungry to get back on the trail. With each passing day, the weather has grown warmer, and we strive for early starts so we can beat the heat of the warm afternoons. This morning is no exception as we rise shortly after the sun and head west. Beyond Burgos lies a section of Spain known as the Meseta. Some refer to it as a desert, but the word literally means plateau. The Meseta comprises almost 40% of Spain's landmass, ranging in elevation from 1,300 feet to 3,300 feet. 1,300 feet to 3,300 feet. So the next 150 miles of the Camino Trail cuts through this arid landscape, where wheat fields extend as far as the eye can see. Much like Kansas, most of the terrain is flat, and the roads are often straight for miles on end. As we head into the first day of this long stretch, I struggle with being fully present. I am loving my time here, and there is no place I would rather be. But I feel the pressure to keep pace, to keep moving, as the end of my 6-week leave draws closer with each passing day. It has been difficult, but I have gradually shifted my focus from the destination to the journey. Still, the pressure of a career waiting across the Atlantic lingers in the recesses of my mind. I love the people I work with, but my challenging role at the hospital has been a source of monumental stress. As I work to serve the needs of the hospital, as well as those of the neurosurgeons and orthopedic surgeons I work alongside, it sometimes feels as if I'm serving two masters with diametrically opposed objectives. In spite of this distant urgency to return to the States, I am realizing these weeks on the Camino have made me happier than I've been in months. The freedom, the simplicity, and the sense of community bring a joy that is so often lacking in my daily life. Justin and I had intended to travel well beyond the town of Hontanas today, but when we arrive, we change our minds. As we approach the small collection of buildings at the hub of the town, Joe and Richard are sitting at a table enjoying their lunch. We also see Jess from South Africa, who walked with us for a while earlier in the day before going on ahead. Her friend Claudia stayed with us and helped us on a few hills. When we stopped to rest for a few minutes, Joe and Richard introduced us to Dave from Ireland, Jessica from Australia, and Andy and his son from New York. Surrounded by the hum of voices from 4 different countries, we sense a feeling of oneness. The energy here is palpable. Every person we talk to is excited to be resting and spending time with other pilgrims. Joe and Richard invite us to join their group for dinner, and we're having a hard time saying no. The need to make the day's objective has been replaced by a desire to connect with these new friends. While a few of our day's companions, including Christy, continue on, Justin and I decide to stay the night here. There are few options for lodging in Hontanas, so we end up with bunk beds in an albergue in the center of town. After paying for our night's lodging and dropping off our bags, we head outside to enjoy the company of our fellow pilgrims. Joe and Richard take up a collection of a few euros from everyone, which gives them enough money to purchase food for all. While they pay a visit to the local supermercado, the rest of us retreat to a courtyard outside our albergue. In a few short hours, with the help of Jess, who, it turns out, is a chef, we are offered a table laden with pasta, a delicious meat sauce, salad, bread, and multiple bottles of Rioja wine. As we enjoy the meal, the energy we first felt when we entered town increases tenfold. People lean in and draw close to one another as stories are shared. There is an intentional nature here, a quality to the conversation that is beautiful to watch unfold. There's no pretense, no judgment, no hierarchy or status. We're just a group of pilgrims eagerly wanting to know more about one another, wanting to hear each other's stories and share in this beautiful moment together. Yeah, and I really love that. It's just all, no judgments at all. I love that. That's really what the world needs. I can't express enough. That's the world needs that more than ever, in my opinion. Some pilgrims talk of embarrassing moments they've experienced in co-ed albergues, and we all agree we've seen enough of naked strangers in the early mornings. Jess shares some of her experiences as a chef working on a yacht. Richard is wondering what to do next after graduating college. Joe is concerned about the direction of his career, and Andy is relishing the time he's spending here with his son. Others share their reasons for embarking on the Camino, and many talk of what awaits them back home and how they wish their friends and family could experience what we are experiencing now. Hearing their stories, I'm reminded of how much I have allowed my job to keep me from having the level of connection with my family that I'm enjoying here with complete strangers. My busy schedule and my obsessive need for control at work have caused me to take on more than I should. Here in Hontanas, all the distractions have faded away, and I'm able to offer more of myself to these people than I've given to my family. For the first time, I can feel the cords that tether me to my career begin to loosen. I'm ready to give my family more of what they deserve and desire, more of me. But I have to choose to do so. This is what makes my friendship with Justin work. and it's one of the things that have been missing from my relationship with my wife and children. Yeah, so I'm glad he's realizing that, and hope he actually follows through with that. All right, now we go to Justin. Staying close with Patrick over the years hasn't been easy. He and I discovered early on that we had to put forth some serious effort in order to remain connected. We made the conscious decision to make one another a priority, to pick up the phone, and to make sacrifices of time. We were willing to part with hard-earned money for plane tickets and road trips that helped to forge an enduring friendship. Looking back on our childhood, the decisions we made to find time for each other seemed so much easier. We simply hopped on our bikes or rode our skateboards across town. But I'm not sure this is fair to say. While childhood decisions were easy and our proximity was much closer, we still had to make an active choice. We each had to decide that spending time together was worth the effort of riding our bicycles the distance between our homes. We worked in order to steal time with one another, and that time has helped us build a friendship. As adults, we can become distracted from realizing how simple spending time together really is. This kind of intentionality, this willingness to sacrifice time, to be present for one another, is especially important when tackling the challenges that tend to separate people. I think back to our college years and to the early years of our marriages. Both Patrick and I continued to wrestle with our addictions to pornography. But for Patrick, the struggles didn't stop there. He had started smoking marijuana when we were in middle school, and this occasional habit continued into college. I still remember the phone call when he told me about the ultimatum he received from Donna. "You want to date me? Then no more weed." Though Patrick still frequently smoked pot, he was in the throes of falling in love and desperately wanted to live up to his girlfriend's expectations. We both needed accountability and the ability to have an open and honest dialogue with someone who wasn't afraid to call us out on the stupid things we convinced ourselves were okay to do. Our obsession with pornography could have easily closed us off from one another, causing us to hide our secret. But we intentionally pursued an honest friendship. We built trust based on having each other's best interests in mind. This is what happens when we intentionally make the needs and welfare of others more important than our own. So yeah, I love that it's honesty. I like how it's all about honesty there. Without experiencing this kind of vulnerable friendship, we probably would not have known how to embrace the courage Christy demonstrated when she shared her story. Being that open and honest with complete strangers takes a strength neither one of us possessed during our college years. Fortunately, we had each other to rely on, to trust, and to be vulnerable with. Any successful relationship, whether friendship or marriage, must have this level of honesty to the point of sharing anything and everything. But this can't happen if we don't pursue each other. It can't happen if we don't make time for each other. This sort of honesty can exist only if we know that no matter what we say or do, the other person will still choose to love us and will still choose to pursue us. Right, and now we're going back to Patrick. Yeah, again, all this is like, that's all that is like good life lessons right there. Like, we need more relationships like that in the world. I just cannot express it enough. I feel we really do need It'd be nice if everybody could be able to do that. It really would make everybody's lives so much easier. Yeah. All right. Back to Patrick. I'm not sure what I would have done without the support and accountability Justin has offered me throughout our friendship. Because of the strong foundation we have, we know we can tell each other anything, and we can trust each other with all that we are. This doesn't mean there haven't been times when we weren't totally honest with each other, especially about our struggles with pornography. However, more often than not, these moments are met with resistance and loving pushback that says, "I'm sorry, man, but I don't think you're telling me the whole story. Are you sure everything's fine?" Occasionally, one of us will call the other out and say, "You're full of crap." Sometimes these words are hard to hear, but they're always spoken in love and always come from a heart that says, "I want what's best for you, and this isn't it." Our pursuit of one another requires sacrifice. The effort we both choose to put into our relationship is indicative of the value we place on one another. We've both seen friendships and marriages fall apart, and every time there's been a lack of true commitment, where one or both individuals no longer puts in the effort, no longer values the relationship, no longer pursues the other person. As adults, it can be easy to lose sight of the fact that we must pursue one another, even when it gets in the way of our own priorities. We can tell people how much we love them, how much they mean to us, but this means nothing if we don't pursue them. We have to pick up the phone, make time to be together, get in the car and make the drive, or hop on a plane and fly across the country. Like it or not, we are what we do, not what we say we will do. And what I've been doing is giving higher priority to my job than to my wife and kids. I've been a provider, but I haven't been much of a husband or father. Again, see, I just love how they're really realizing that stuff, and really, it's just all great lessons to apply to life. And I'm saying it to you guys through this now, because I want to spread these positive messages out. Okay? All right, now we go back to Justin. The sun is now setting beyond the expanse of the Meseta, and each pilgrim is backlit by a sunset so bright they've all faded to little more than silhouettes. Patrick sits to my left, eyes closed as the sun warms his bearded face. Our hearts are filled with the love and connection shared here tonight. Sharing a plate of food, Patrick gives me a bite of bread and helps me wash it down with a bit of wine. Bread and wine. A group of new friends gathered around a table sharing bread and wine. Though this meal is by no means a Last Supper, what it represents is powerful. A community of individuals has come together around a meal, sharing the very things that will provide the energy and sustenance needed to continue moving forward. In the Bible, the Last Supper was many things: a farewell to Jesus, the outing of a traitor in their midst, the exposition of Peter's coming denial of the Messiah. But something else happened around that table, something powerful. Jesus sought out each of these men. He pursued them and chose to break bread with them. Jesus invited them to live a different kind of life, a life of communion with him, the God of love and compassion, in whom Patrick and I choose to believe, lived his life with these men and invited them to break bread with him, to drink with him, to rest in his presence. God's two greatest commandments are to love him and to love others. But what does this kind of love look like? The only people we feel loved by are those who pursue us. They pursue conversation with us, spend time with us, hold us when we are broken, and help us get up when we fall. The pursuit of us is what shows us we're loved. Our parents, our siblings, our wives, our kids, our friends, Ted, Christy, Joe, Richard, Claudia, John, Linda, Bernie, Ray, and so many others. They have all pursued us in different ways. And though we are flawed, and sometimes fail, we do our best to do the same. When Patrick and I make the conscious decision to pursue one another, to actively give love and compassion to each other, we find sustenance. We find sustenance around a very different table. Sorry, I know I'm probably bad at pronouncing. Sustenance around a very different table. We are the vessels through which the world can know God's love. In this kind of love, we find the ability to be honest about our fears and the freedom to share our feelings. We find a different kind of bread to relieve a seemingly insatiable hunger, and a different kind of wine to satisfy a seemingly unquenchable thirst. Just as our bodies hunger for food and drink, our hearts long for love, our souls long to be pursued. All right, and that concludes chapter 16. Oh my gosh, wow, okay. So yeah, again, I just really have to say, I just love the way that's all written down. It's so amazing. Like that, it's the same concept of the Last Supper there. They're all complete strangers, but yet they're coming together like they already know each other, and they actually are starting to know each other. Like, I just absolutely love the positive message there. I think this is like one of the most inspiring stories I've ever read. It's definitely becoming that, I must say, because again, it's my first time reading it, so I don't know what the rest of the story is, but just everything that I've read so far, it's just definitely one of the most powerful stories in the world, I think. If not one of the most powerful stories ever. It's definitely up there with, and I love it so much. All right, Rappies. Well, thank you all very much. Again, hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for next time as we go into chapter 17, Countdown. Yes. So they're still making their way, and they're getting so much out of it, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Again, thank you, Rappies, very much. Love you all to death. God bless, and until next time, bye.